Hey, this is Measley, coming at you with a World of Warcraft guide featuring Garrisons. With the launch of Legion and multiple nerfs to the gold making aspects of the Garrison, many players couldn't wait to move on and get a breath of fresh air from Warlords of Draenor. However, with the introduction of being able to convert WoW tokens and thus in-game gold into Battle.net balance, gold making is more important than ever. With some proper setup and maintenance, your garrisons can turn into a relatively passive and lucrative source of income. To start off, I'm going to be going over the buildings that you need. This first part of the video is meant for those of you who aren't as familiar with the setup, so if you already know all this, you can skip ahead to where I start discussing the small buildings. For the large buildings, the barracks not only unlocks more EXP missions for your followers to level up, but also a level 3 barracks allows you to have 5 extra followers. The War Mill, otherwise known as the Dwarven Bunker on Alliance, is an optional choice. The main benefit that it gives you is that it allows you to queue work orders for follower equipment. However, as I will address later in this video, there's an item called the Frozen Arms of the Hero that you can just buy from the auction house to upgrade your followers. Next, there are 2 medium buildings that are required for this setup. First, you will need the Frostwall Tavern or Lunarfall Inn for hiring followers. I'll go into more detail about the tavern later. The other building that you'll need is the Trading Post. At the Trading Post, you'll be able to convert garrison resources into crafting materials. Next up, things are starting to get interesting. Here's my tier list for small buildings. You can have up to 3 different ones in a garrison. I'll go into more detail about each of these buildings in a while. Make sure you have the add-on master plan, as it will help you optimize which followers to send on missions. Having a diversified group of followers is key to running a successful garrison. Once a week, with a level 2 or above inn, you can hire 1 follower with a trade of your choice. A level 3 inn will then give you more garrison resource missions, so you'll want to make that upgrade as well. The trait you'll need to go with is Extreme Scavenger, which gives you extra garrison resources from missions. When you're recruiting, pick the highest rated follower based on your add-on. Just pick the one with the most badass icon. Multiple Extreme Scavengers do stack, so this allows you to get up to thousands of garrison resources from a single mission. You'll want to level up your followers, then upgrade their item level. You can buy the Frozen Arms of a Hero from the auction house to upgrade your followers if they're cheap on your server, or you can produce some follower equipment using the War Mill or Dwarven Bunker. Some missions also grant upgrade tokens that you can use to fill out their levels. Every day a random trader will appear at the trading post that allows you to convert your garrison resources into crafting mats. They all sell the same materials, but each trader will offer you different prices. The cheapest that you can get for any given crafting mat is 16 garrison resources a piece. I'll go through which traders to look for each profession later. Now I'm going to move on to the small buildings. First, I'm going to cover the Tailoring Emporium. Hexweave Bags, being tied for the biggest bags in Legion, are still very hot right now. Your character actually needs to be a tailor in order to make these. The materials that you need to make these are Hexweave, Gorgon Flytrap, and Sorcerer's Earth. You get Hexweave from your daily tailoring cooldown, which produces 20 Hexweave a day at 700 tailoring. The rest of your Hexweave will come from work orders at your Tailoring Emporium. With a level 3 Tailoring Emporium, you also get items called Rush Orders from completing follower missions, which allows you to instantly complete work orders. Hexweave production averages out to about a little more than 60 Hexweave a day. Now, the main reagent that you use to make Hexweave is Sumptuous Fur, which you can get at the trading post from Elder Surehide if you're Horde or Trader Eula if you're Alliance. Another reagent that you need is the Gorgon Flytrap herb. You can get it from Trader Pixney Penny Pocket for both factions. The next reagent is Sorcerer's Earth, which you can get from the auction house, or if you have an alchemist, you can get them from transmuting the less expensive sorcerous elements such as air, water, and fire. You can also buy Sumptuous Fur and Gorgon Flytrap from the auction house, but generally the trading post will supply you with more than enough. To achieve maximum production of Hexweave from your Tailoring Emporium, you'll want to recruit a follower with the tailoring trait and assign him to your building. One of the easier to get followers is the Pleasure Bot 8000. You can get him regardless of whether if you're Alliance or Horde, though the NPC that starts the quest will be different. With all followers, the extra production that they grant is maximized when they are level 100, regardless of item level. So you can also consider leveling them up with missions first, although they do get some EXP from processing work orders as well. This is the Alliance quest giver for the same follower. Next up, we'll be talking about the Scribe's quarters, and the item we'll be crafting is the Card of Omens. These are consumables that can be turned into vendor trash of different values, and they generally sell well because I guess people like the thrill of gambling. A single card can produce vendor trash that can sell for up to 6,000 gold, but it's very unlikely. Now, you don't actually need to be a scribe to make these, as these can be crafted directly from the building. You will, however, need to queue up work orders at a level 2 and above scribe quarters to get the war paints needed to craft the cards. You can also make 20 war paints a day with a daily cooldown if you're a scribe, but again, you don't have to be a scribe to actually craft the cards. Aside from the war paints, you'll also need light parchment, which you can just buy from a Traveler's Tundra Mammoth if you have one. To make money off of these cards, you can flip and vendor your own, or sell them on the auction house. On average, if you flip them, each individual card is worth about 4.6 gold. On my server's auction house, they sell for around 5 gold a piece. I still sell them on the auction house even if they drop down to about 4.5 gold, because it's just faster than flipping a bunch of cards. The scribe follower that you'll need to recruit to get your increased war paints production is Benjamin Gibbs if you're a Horde, or Admiral Taylor if you're Alliance. You'll be able to find them in Admiral Taylor's abandoned garrison in the spires of Iraq. Lastly, to queue work orders for war paints, you'll need pigments, which you can purchase directly from the auction house or mill your own using Draenor herbs. If you're not a scribe, you can make a Draenic mortar from the NPC in the building, which will allow you to mill herbs. The trader that you can get herbs for the cheapest is Pixney Pennypocket for both factions. Next, we'll be covering the Alchemy Lab. With just a level 1 lab, you'll be able to make utility potions that actually sell well due to the unique effects that they have, such as water walking and invisibility. Note that if you already have an alchemist, you can make these without actually having to have an alchemy lab, as unlike for tailoring and inscription, the reagents needed for making the pots don't have to come from the building. Instead, you'll need fish to craft the potions, which you can get from Ridpure for Horde or Talgeir the Iron Render for Alliance. A perk that the Alchemy Lab offers is that you can also get free soulbound pots if you have a level 2 lab with a follower assigned. Next, the crafting material that the lab produces through work orders is the Alchemical Catalyst. It is unique in that you can buy and sell them on the auction house, but I don't produce them because the profit margins simply aren't that high on my server. One way to flip these alchemical catalysts would be to turn them into Draenic Philosopher's Stones, which will require you to have alchemy. You can then vendor them for over 20 gold a piece. The recipe requires 5 alchemical catalysts and 1 true iron ore. This is generally a good way to print gold, as the reagents are generally cheap on the auction house, and even more so if you get the alchemical catalysts through work orders. You can also get true iron ore from the trading post, from Elder Surehide for Horde or Trader Eula for Alliance. Next, I'm going to cover the Tannery, which is the leatherworking building. With a level 1 Tannery, you'll be able to craft Drums of Fury. This is a consumable item that grants a bloodlust-like effect to you and your party. It's not bind on pickup, so you'll be able to sell these. Since it only requires raw beast hide to craft, you don't actually have to produce anything from the Tannery to be able to craft these. And if you already have a leatherworker, don't even bother getting a Tannery. You can still get raw beast hide from the auction house or from the trading post from either Rib Chewer for Horde or Talgeir the Iron Render for Alliance. Next up is the Engineering Works. A level 1 Engineering Works allows you to make Goblin Gliders. It's a popular consumable item that people have been using a lot in Legion before unlocking flying. Let's see a quick demonstration of what it does. Oh, whoops, I died. Here's a better demo. To make these, you'll need true iron ore and sumptuous fur, both of which you can get at the trading post from Elder Surehide for Horde or Trader Eula for Alliance. While the Goblin Glider has been my main moneymaker, you can check if the other crafted items are profitable on your server as well, especially the pets and the toys. For instance, I found some success with the Swap Blaster, an item that allows you to swap positions with a party member. To make some of these items, you'll have to queue work orders at your engineering works for gear spring parts using the Draenor ore, which you can again snag from the trading post from Elder Surehide or Trader Eula. Lastly, if you upgrade to a level 2 engineering works and assign a follower, you'll be able to purchase some useful items such as a portable bank and portable mailbox. The next and last small building on my tier list is the Salvage Yard. You can get this if you've crossed out all of the other buildings mentioned before. It basically allows you to get some additional Draenor crafting materials and garrison resources from doing your missions. It was nerfed pretty hard with the release of Legion though. Now that we're done with the small buildings, there are still a couple more miscellaneous ones that I want to discuss. First, you can still make some gold with the mine, but I generally don't bother nowadays. You can go down into the mine and gather Blackrock ore and true iron ore. With a follower assigned, you can also queue work orders for more ore with the Draenor stones that you also collect from the mining. Something of note is that there's actually a unique mining pick that you can get from the Spires of Iraq, which increases your mining speed on Draenor. Here's the location of the mining pick on the map. Like the mines, at the herb garden you can collect Draenor herbs. You can also assign a follower for work orders and to select any specific herb that you want to plant. The Draenor seeds you collect from herbing can also be used for purchasing some vanity items, including the crazy carrot pet, which you actually can sell on the auction house. Also similar to mining, there's a pair of unique gloves that you can get to increase your herb gathering speed on Draenor. You can get them from this monster in Nagrand. There are a group of rare missions that show up randomly once a week, provided that you fulfill certain criteria with your and your followers' item levels. The two most profitable missions from this pool are Breaker 2, which gives you the Coalfist Gronling mount, and Eldritch Horrors, which gives you the Medallion of the Legion. There are other quests in this pool, but they are nowhere near as profitable as these two. Both the Coalfist Gronling and the Medallion of the Legion are selling for above 3k on my server. To unlock these missions, you must be at least item level 675, which is easy to attain with Legion being out. You must have 15 active followers at level 100. Then, of these 15 followers, you need at least 3 of them with an item level of 675. Then at least 7 more followers with at least 645 item level. Again, you can purchase the frozen arms of a hero from the auction house to help boost your followers' item levels. This item also happens to come from one of the missions in this series. Besides Garrison Resources quests and the rare quests I just talked about, next I want to discuss Primal Spirits. Once you get these rewarded from your missions, you can trade them in for crafting materials at the trader in your garrison. If you're a tailor, Hexweave cloth is most likely your best bet, and if you're not, then you can buy Savage Blood, which is not soulbound and can be sold on the auction house. Make sure to sell bloods for more than 50 gold, since you can also trade them in at the trading post for bloody coin purses that each contain about 50 gold. Another type of reward you can get from Garrison Missions is Apexis Crystals. Apexis Crystals can be traded for pets to cage and sell, provided you have enough reputation with the respective Draenor factions, or you can buy some mounts with them. You can go to your Ashrad faction hub to find most of the reputation vendors gathered together. The Order of the Awakened also sells a Blazing Firehawk pet. Lastly, I'll go over some other tips with the garrison. First, if your character already has a class order hall, you can still access your garrison report by right-clicking on your class order hall icon on your minimap. So left-click is for your class order hall and right-click is for your garrison. For tip number 2, there are some other potential markets available through crafting with the garrison, mainly with the transmog market. Personally, I've been having some success with the inscription staves, and perhaps you can discover some hidden markets on your server. For tip number 3, the garrison shipyard is generally not worth your time. However, it does reward some heirloom EXP rings if you're really lucky with the missions. Lastly, I didn't discuss the barn in this video because you actually need to do some farming to make gold from it, and this video is more focused on passive income. For a summary of small building setup, generally the optimal setup is to have as many tailoring emporiums as you can across multiple characters to craft Hexweave Bags. You'll need the bind-on pickup mats produced from the Tailoring Emporium and Scribe's quarters to craft the items mentioned. The rest of the small buildings I mentioned are mainly just for providing you the means to craft certain items, so you don't need to own them if you already have those professions on any of your characters. And that pretty much wraps it up for my video. I've covered some of the ways that I've been making gold with my garrisons. Although they do take some setting up, I find it to be quite worth the investment despite all of the nerfs that came with Legion. What's more, the garrison isn't just good for making gold. In another video, I'll be covering some of the vanity items that you can get from garrisons. Thanks for watching. I know this was a really long one, and see you in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And peace out, guys. Have a good one.